Welcome back to the dopest show you won't get sick of. I'm Spencer. This is Sasha. Spent most of my 20s in federal prison, but have been off heroin since April 9, 2010. Got a lot of stories about the dumb stuff I did to get put in prison. I've also got a lot of stories about the crazy stuff that happened while I was in prison. And God forbid you end up in prison. Want to make some of the same mistakes I made. So, have a window broken, have piss flies in the house, moving some furniture. These little gnats driving me crazy. But anyway, I know a good bit about this. It's something that some people know about, some people don't know about. But I know firsthand that a paid lawyer versus public defender, unless it's like a first time case, you don't have a whole lot, makes all the difference. There's a lot of deals in the back rooms, and if you look at it and you pay attention, if justice is blind, then regardless of whether you pay for that lawyer or not, should be about similar results, right? No. A lot of the time what happens is the lawyers make backroom deals with the prosecutors. And what that means is, for their paid clients, they get them the good deals for serving up the public defender cases on a platter to the prosecution. They do more work. I had a public defender in my first case back when I was a kid, and they're terrible. As a woman, she's known for being a pretty decent lawyer. Terrible. It was all I could do to get a hold of her. Anytime I called the office trying to talk, I could never get a hold of her, and I got told not to keep on calling. I got told I was being a nuisance by calling to find out about my case. Only days I ever saw her were about 15 minutes before I went to court. There's a number of things, that just were completely foolish and ridiculous that happened with this thing. And it's not uncommon, okay? That's pretty much the run of the mill with most of them. Incredible lawyers can turn into crap lawyers if they're not getting paid. And even when they're getting paid, once the job is done, a lot of the times, good luck on continuing, because once you pay them, they're supposed to help, with that case of certain things. And if it wasn't for my mom, I would have kept on doing more time than I had from some jail credit issues. But anyway, so I've got a friend. He's in my area, and he personally told me that he got caught with the weapon, and that basically the lawyer told him, "You give me so much, this is what I can make happen. We can get it thrown out." Said he went in court. The judge kind of grinned at him. He grinned back, and he dismissed the case and told him to go see whatever the woman is down that takes like the payments, his personal assistant. He handed the money over, didn't get a receipt, and the case was dismissed. It was a good handful of money he had to pay in order to make that happen. But in a case that could have gotten him substantial years out of his life, he got it thrown out. That was one of the wilder ones, ones that's just like, yeah. But there's a lot of backroom dealings, backroom meetings, and things of that sort that happen that people don't know about, people don't understand. There's a number of lawyers that I've heard of that when you go see them, they'll tell you, for this much, I can get you this. For that much, I can get you that. And for this much, we might be able to just, handle this thing. How can they guarantee you that? How can they make such a guarantee that they already know the result of the case? That the prosecutor is going to be on board with that? That the judge is going to accept that? How do they know? This is not saying any specific place, anything like that. This is general. This is stuff that's been uncovered and found in city to city, state to state, across the whole entire United States. And it's something that's been, gets uncovered every once in a while, but more people play the game than anybody realizes, I think. It's a whole part of the system. And, it's absolutely absurd and insane. It's wrong, yeah, but it's how it is. When you've got the same lawyer, it's supposed to be the same regardless. It's supposed to treat every case, everything the same, ethics oath and all that. It's not quite how it works. A lot of the time though, if you are a first-time offender, you don't have a whole lot on your record, there's stuff they can work at. And there are programs, sometimes they'll accept people too, because they got to have people, that can do that. But there are certain people that I've seen that, they're getting by with some stuff, and it's not from telling. Now there are people that do that. I know there are plenty of people that do that. I know some specific people that have been doing that for years. I know certain people that were involved in my case, testifying on me, that the entire time I was in prison, and the time that I've been out of prison, had a breaker flip. I apologize. You're gonna have to deal with me on that. Have been out doing the exact same thing. Now those people are working. They're working with the cops. That's just what it is. You know. You know it because certain people around them keep going to jail, but they're the ones that never go to jail. It happens. My mom noticed it with someone in particular. It kept coming into her store all the time with other people, showing them to sell the jewelry to her. And she said, it's awful funny. Everybody that's around this person keeps getting locked up, but he never gets locked up. So yeah, that happens too. But in terms of the legal system and how it works, a lot of the time what honestly happens is the people that are court appointed, a lot of times the important case with the bad case, the ones that they know they got to give them time, the ones that are known that don't have money and everything else, they're handed over in exchange for the people with the money. And that's what happens. See, the federal system, it's a little bit harder for that, because in the federal system you got mandatory minimums. So you get hit in the federal system, you hit a lot of the time. But in the state system, that's something I've seen over and over. I've seen people get their judge switched. I mean, where do they do that at? Because there's one judge that's known that said he's going to give 1 million years out by the time he retires. And then there's another judge that's known as the program judge, the rehabilitation judge, the one that counts. For example, there's one judge in my town that's known for seeing drug addiction as an illness that needs to be treated, and it's not helping anything. He quit putting people in jail for felon marijuana on probation. And they brought him, the last case that I heard of, one of my friends got put in there, and they tried to violate him, get him years put in prison. And he looked at them and sternly said, you brought him in here for felon marijuana? They said, yes, we believe that he should serve the rest. He said, don't bring this to me again. This is a waste of taxpayers' money. Don't do this to me again. And then, that's the program judge. On the other hand, you've got the judge that swore he's going to give out 1 million years. So, even though most people that get put in prison for drug dealing, right, are just middlemen. They're not getting rich. They're taking 100 from Bobby, 60 from Billy, putting it together, 160, and for $150, they're getting the discount, the 10-bag discount. Instead of paying 200, they're paying 150 for 10, and they're handing 5 to Billy, 3 to Bobby, making 2 bags for himself, making $10 for lunch. Those are the people that fill jails and prisons, even though most of those people, they're not really dealers. They're middlemen because they don't want to rob, steal, and scheme and scam from their family. The one judge, the program judge, will give them drug court because, yeah, they need help. They're addicts. They're not getting rich off selling dope. Then there's another judge. I believe he's retired now. Swore to give 1 million years out. That judge, the 1 million year judge, would not give anyone drug court if you had a drug distribution charge. He would sit there and stand and say he said the same thing every time. Drug court is for drug addicts. You, sir, are a drug dealer. I have a program for you. It's called the state penitentiary. And that's what he said over and over again. So I've seen a couple cases, paid lawyers getting people switched from the 1 million year judge to the other judge. Don't know how they do it, everything else, but think about it. It makes sense. And it's messed up. It's messed up on a number of levels. It's not blind because I didn't think about it. It's the audio. Yeah, the audio is still good. But anyway, the breaker going out. This is hooked to the phone. Sorry. It's not blind because if you have a paid lawyer, especially a really good paid lawyer that has those lunches and meetings with the prosecutor, they go have themselves a lunch. Maybe envelope gets passed back and forth. You know what happens. You know what happens time to time, state to state, city to city. Not saying any particular one, but I know of certain situations with people it's happened. But on the same note, justice isn't blind. On the luck of draw, which judge you get? It's a judge reasonably close to me who gave a man 5 years, the maximum sentence, for 2 pounds of pot. 6 months to 5 years is what it carried. He gave him 5 years. He hadn't been in trouble in over 20 years. That's stupid. Okay? The other judge would have probably given him a year or two. So, your luck of the draw on what judge you get, that's a whole other deal. There's no set standard, and it has a whole different thing. If justice is blind, for instance, in Roanoke County, I know somebody, their third time, got a driving without a license. They got 90 days in jail. Roanoke City, shoot, they might give you a weekend for that. It's less than a mile away. It could be just right on the line. But if you get caught in the county, you're going to have, God, the consequences are going to be completely different. Same thing with drug dealing. In the county's rich. It's a rich white area. That's just what it is. In the city, yeah, it's got less expensive houses. You know, a lot of the voters are in the county. So in the city, certain areas, they got so much crime and everything else, they're not given the same punishments. So people know to keep out certain areas. You know, you sell here, you're taking a risk. Me, back when I was dealing, I kept out of a place called Benton, and I kept out of a place called Salem, because I knew you don't get caught in Benton or Salem dealing. So I kept out of there. But, you know, it's not how it should be. I know that it's, keep it out of our area. But if it's blind, if it's supposed to be set by a certain standard, that standard should be met around the board. That standard should not have a difference that is set on a county line. It shouldn't make a difference if you're 2 steps this way or 2 steps that way and the line's in the middle. It should be the same all the way through. But that's not how it is. Everybody will tell you that's been involved in drug dealing. They know that this place, you get caught there, you're going to get in trouble. Everybody that's lived in, unless you just lived in a city your whole life and all you know is people in the city, which, that makes sense too. But I'm sure even there, certain parts of the city, opposed to other parts of the city, it's how it is. But it's a messed up system. It's messed up everything, the whole thing all the way around. It sucks. But it is what it is. But it's something that, people need to think about and know about a little bit more. Think about, how it works. With the first time offenders, with the public defenders, yeah, they get a program. They get whatever their guidelines say. But, and that's how they make it probably look balanced. And other people. But, you get somebody who's been in trouble a good number of times. It's crazy. Anyway, if you like the video, press the like button. It's something I figured I needed to talk about a little bit. Some people don't recognize this. Some people do recognize this. But the difference is huge. Public defender, paid lawyer, and county to county, judge to judge. There's some judges that shouldn't be judges. If you ever say that you're going to give it 1,000,000 years before you retire, that's the stupidest thing ever. That just says that you're just trying to boost your own ego by hitting your own numbers. So then, some kind of sick, sadistic type thing, to think that you're the baddest, toughest judge, it's wrong. Anyway, if you like it, press the like button.